What's going on, people? How's everybody doing today? It's another episode of Will's Sports Show. Um, Sorry about yesterday. I know I said I was gonna do a show yesterday, but I'm here today. Definitely gonna be having my Wednesday topic today, so you can say Thursday's topic. And today's topic is gonna be about the New York Knicks and. Every time you say that name, as a Knicks fan, you just huff and puff or you shake your head. Everything that we've been going through as a Knicks fan. So I'm definitely gonna just address them, address the history and what they should have done and what they need to do going forward. But before I do that, I wanted to definitely address Game 7 of the conference semifinals, the Western Conference semifinals, with the Nuggets and the Clippers. Whew. I mean, if you're a Clipper fan, I mean, what can you say? I mentioned on my last show, I said, you know, if they lose this game, this is by far be the worst loss as far as them trying to go to the conference finals. Because again, let's go back to '06. Like I mentioned on my last show, yeah, they lost to the Suns, but they didn't expect to do anything. I know they had 3-1 leads, with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, but this is worse, man. When you get a two-time NBA Finals MVP, and when you get a Paul George, and you play well in the regular season, man, you up 3 games to 1, and then you got big leads against them in game 5 and 6, man. It's just a bad look, and it's just a failure, man. It's horrible. Again, like I said, I wanted them to win, not because I had a rooting interest, but I wanted Lakers and Clippers. I wanted the Battle of LA. I wanted Kawhi versus LeBron, but that's not gonna happen. The Nuggets, did what they had to do, and give it up to the Nuggets, man. Shout out to all you Nugget fans out there. I know you guys are ecstatic, and you guys, Nuggets proved them wrong, man. And I like their attitude. I like how it's us against the world, have a chip on their shoulder. And you gotta have that because it's like nobody expected them to win. I didn't obviously expect them to win, I must say, and nobody did. They had a chip on their shoulder, and they did what they had to do. And Jamal Murray seemed like he still was pissed, after the game, the post game show. So, kudos to them, man. They got too much talent, and I hope they win. I hope they win, man. They the underdogs. You know, I'm sure people that know me and know my thoughts about LeBron. He is by far the best player in the NBA. He would go down as a top 5 NBA player of all time. But I will always respect this game. If I had to start a team with him, it would be him. If I had to start a team with somebody, he'll be the first person I pick. I respect this game, but personally, I just don't. I don't like him. Sorry for all you LeBron lovers out there. But I personally don't like him. I have nothing against the Lakers, but I just don't. I never did like LeBron ever since he made that move to go to Miami. I've always rooted against him, but again, I will never take away his game. I respect what he does off the court as well, but I just personally don't like him. I'm not that much of a hater to say he's not a great player. He is. As much as I want the Nuggets to win, I don't see it still. But you never know. But I'm pulling for them, man. I want a Nuggets Heat NBA Finals. I know that's not gonna be popular for ESPN and ABC. I know they want Boston, LA, and it will be great for the tradition. But we've seen that already. Let's see some new blood, man. But let's see, man. Denver got to win Game 1. They have to win Game 1, and they have to do what they got to do. They have to make sure that all that scoring that they did against the Clippers, they got to do the same thing against the Lakers. Jamal Murray has to go off. Jokic has to do their thing. The bench has to contribute in order for them to do well. But just a horrible loss for the Clippers. I really feel for you Clippers fans. I know Laker fans is laughing at y'all right now. But it's just a tough loss. But they ain't got nobody to blame but themselves, man. They had it right there in the palm of their hands, and they found a way to lose. So they ain't got nobody to blame but themselves. So I don't know what to say about that. They just gotta wait till next year. But and I think Paul George, said something, you know, that it's not a failure, or we can't look at it yet, or we can't look at this season as failure. Yes, you can. They didn't get you guys to be up 3 games to 1 and lose in the conference finals. I mean, conference semifinals. They got you guys. They traded for you. They got Kawhi, and they put this team together to go to the finals and win a championship. So stop it. You can't. You were supposed to win, and you up 3 games to 1, man. Now, if you had lost, back and forth, game or whatever, back and forth series, it still would have been, heartbreaking. But at least you came. At least it was back and forth. But you up 3 games to 1, and you up by double digits in Game 5 and Game 6, and you don't close it out. Horrible. And in Game 7, Kawhi and Paul George didn't even show up. They didn't even show up. That makes it worse. Horrible, 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 horrible loss. So that's that. So Game 1 of the conference finals is on Friday, and we're gonna see, man. Should be a good series, and let's see if the Nuggets can pull out another upset. With the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, that was a great game, and if all games are gonna be like that, it's gonna be a great series with the Celtics and Heat. But Bam Adebayo with the block that heard around the world. Even Magic Johnson said that was the best block he ever seen. That's coming from somebody that is great. Great player, 5 rings, and he played with Kareem, played with so much Hall of Famers. So if he's saying that, then maybe it is the best block ever. But that was a great game, and Game 2 is tonight. Let's see what's gonna happen. Obviously, Boston has to win tonight. You don't want to be down 0-2. And Miami just keep on showing grit, man. That franchise is just unbelievable. For them since Pat Riley took over, they just been one of the best franchises in the NBA. He took over the coach, the Heat. Man. He got Alonzo Mourning. He got Tim Hardaway. You already know the rivalry he had with us. All them playoff battles. They was whack a couple of years. They drafted Dwayne Wade. They get Shaq. A couple years later, they win a ring. They down again. They still went to the playoffs a couple of times with Dwayne Wade. And then obviously they get LeBron, they get Bosh. Look what happens. They win a couple of rings. Okay, LeBron goes back to Cleveland. Bosh, dealing with injuries. They dealt with that blood clot. Wade left. They was down a little bit. Came back. And a lot of people don't give enough credit to Eric Spoelstra, man. He's been just a great coach, man. He deserves credit. Not only for being a coach for 2 championship rings, which a lot of people not gonna give credit for because they're gonna be like, oh, LeBron was there. You had Wade and Bosh, but look what he's done after they left. And I always say that, and I always wish my teams was like this. Be consistent. I'm not saying to win a championship every year. I'm not saying to even go to the playoffs every year. If you miss the playoffs, fine, but barely miss the playoffs, or go 41-41, or go 8-8, or something like 9-7. Just be consistent. Next year you come back. That's all I ask for my teams. So, they definitely did. They definitely doing what they have to do. And Jimmy Butler just continues to be just a leader, and they just got grit, man. So, but it's gonna be a tough series. I won't be surprised if Boston come back and win tonight. I won't be surprised if this series is a long series. So, it's gonna be 2 great conference finals, man. I really do. I really think that both these series are gonna go at least 6 or 7, and we're gonna see, man, who's gonna go to the finals. So, we're gonna definitely gonna find out. And it's basically what I got for NBA. So, on to the main topic that I want to talk about today, and that's with the New York Knicks. And for all you Knicks fans out there, please, I'm sure everything I'm about to say you guys are gonna agree with. And if you guys disagree, you can feel free to comment on anything I say, and not just Knicks fans, any fan. Like I always mention, anything you want to comment on, you want to say, you can always, post on my, under my comments. With the Knicks, It's just, when is it gonna end? That is the question. And when I mean when is it gonna end? I'm talking about, when are we gonna be a competent basketball team again? When are we gonna be a competent franchise? This franchise has not won a championship since 1973. That's 47 years. This team hasn't been to the finals since 1999. Okay, I was in. Matter of fact, I didn't even start high school yet. I was about to start high school. I was in still junior high. This team hasn't been to the conference finals since 2000. Uh, they haven't had an MVP since 1970, and that was the only time with Willis Reed. They have not had a defensive player of the year only once, and that was with Tyson Chandler. And he was also the last person to make the All NBA defensive team. I believe we only had one scoring type champion, and that's Carmelo Anthony. Uh, the last Knicks to make the All NBA first team was, my boy Patrick Ewing, but that was in 1990. The last time we won 60 games was 1993. And of course, the last time we made the playoffs was 2013. That was also the last time we won 50 games, and that's also the last time we won the division. Just to name a few horrible stats with this franchise. And I say, when is it going to end? I'm sick and tired of every year this franchise is a laughingstock of the NBA and the media. I understand, last year we was expected to get Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They didn't want to come here, or whatever the issue is, they went to Brooklyn, which made it worse. And by the way, I can't stand the Nets. I couldn't stand them when they was in New Jersey. So I love Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I love the borough, but I don't like the Nets. Never did, never will. So by them going there makes it worse. And then it's like watching a free agency special on ESPN that day. You might as well say, let's laugh at the Knicks show. It was like everything that was going on in the NBA, all they wanted to talk about is what the Knicks didn't do. We never get any luck in the draft. Only time we got luck is when we got Ewing. And thank God for that, because it's a match. Can you imagine if we didn't win that lottery, our first lottery, and we didn't get Patrick Ewing? It's just, again, where do you begin? But I'm going to tell you right now, Leon Rose, World Wide West, this scout that we got from Utah, I think that's what he is, the Scott Perry, they better get this together. I'm not saying to build a team to win a championship. That's not going to happen. What I'm saying is this. Let's stop messing around and let's make this franchise relevant again. You got pieces in R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson. I feel like Mitchell Robinson right now is the best player on this team. I love his defense. He needs to be the starting center, and I feel like one day he's going to be defensive player of the year. He's just a great athlete. He's only going to get better. R.J. Barrett, in my opinion, should have went to the All-NBA rookie second team. He didn't. That's fine. He needs to improve as well. What moves are you going to make? Who's going to be the starting point guard? There's rumblings around saying that they trying to get Chris Paul because Chris Paul and Leon Rose is cool. Okay, fine. Don't give up the whole house for Chris Paul. Do not give him no first round picks. If you want to give him one future first round pick, let that be like 2022, 2023. Do not give him the first round pick this year. The 2 first round picks that we have, you need to keep. And if you want to get Chris Paul, fine. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Knox could go. Julius Randle could go. I don't know if they're gonna let him go because he still got a couple more years in his contract. Bobby Portis could go. Wayne Ellington could go. Reggie, but all these free agents that they try to patch up because they couldn't get Durant and Westbrook could go. You signing these guys. I know you got to fill up the roster, but why are you signing Wayne Ellington and why are you signing, Reggie Bullock where you had Alonzo Trier as your backup shooting guard? Taj Gibson, I understand. I actually like Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson could stay. And also I like the fact that Taj Gibson is on here because, he played with Thibodeau. They need to really, and I just hope this is the last time that we hire a head coach. I'm so glad we hired Thibodeau. For once, this franchise finally manned up and hired a coach that knew what the hell he's doing, and as a relevant coach and has a great track record. They didn't hire no Ricky Dink assistant or anything of that nature. They hired somebody that wanted to be here, that used to be an assistant coach here, and that wanted to be here. And he preaches defense. Defense. That's what he preaches. And that's what this team needs. This team needs a kick in the butt. They need a disciplinarian. I always say, franchises that don't do well at all and are horrible, they need a disciplinary head coach. Or they need a head coach that has a track record. And I'm so glad the Knicks ain't hire no Jason Kidd, no Kenny Atkinson. Even I like Kenny Atkinson, but if a coach out there like a Mark Jackson or a Tom Thibodeau, you get him. And they missed out on it too much. They got David Fizdale. Look how that turned out. Before that, they got Jeff Hornacek. Before that, Phil Jackson dumb self when I hired Derek Fisher. And Derek Fisher blew up, blew smoke up on everybody's ass talking about this and that, whatever, in the press conference. Yeah, the press conference was good. Look, we did. Now he gonna sit there in the second year. He's gonna say that, I'm not worrying about this team making the playoffs. Then why are you coaching? Phil Jackson let you go. Phil Jackson, we already know what he did with this damn franchise. That's one of the smart things that James Dolan did, was to fire him. But you fired him after he made a draft, and they drafted Ntilikina. It's just so much that this team needs to do in a step by step. If you want to get Chris Paul, fine. If you want to bring in Carmelo Anthony, fine. But first of all, like I said, with Chris Paul, do not give Oklahoma City the whole house, and don't. The main thing I'm scared about is giving up draft picks. I feel like the first 2 draft picks that they have this year, I know it's number 8, and I know that we got the Clippers pick, and that's low. But you need to keep those picks. If you want to give a second rounder, okay, fine. But do not, and also don't give up too much first round picks for Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul, but it's not the Chris Paul from when he started in New Orleans or the Clippers. If you want to get Carmelo Anthony, which I love Carmelo Anthony, I still do, fine. A little veteran, minimum contract or anything like that, fine. But the main focus is to develop this team to be a competent team again, and be relevant. It's been freaking 20 years since the last time this team even made it to the conference finals. We've only won 1 playoff series since 2000. Like, that's just horrible. Horrible. It needs to end. And definitely I'm going to be, whenever basketball season, the next season starts again, definitely going to be ranting and raving, man. But, I'm just glad that they got a coach that knows what the hell he's doing in Tom Thibodeau. That's a start. Because if they had got a Jason Kidd or Kenny Atkinson or any one of these rinky-dink assistants that they hired, I wouldn't have had no hope. Now it's a little hope again. So we could start from there, and let's move on. And let's see what this team is made of, man. I know you Knicks fans out there starving. And that's the thing that also gets me mad. Like, we don't even ask for much. All we ask is to be competitive. Can you at least win 37 games? I know before the pandemic happened and then went on break, all I asked for David Fizdale was to win 37 games, 4-18. I like what Mike Miller did when he came in, which was a disgrace. They should have kept him as an assistant coach. He deserved that, but whatever. Glad we got Mike Woodson on the staff. They got all the pieces. They Leon Rose is this, and Roy West is this, or everybody is this, and he's good and that. All right. So everything that you've let's continue the reputation that you guys have, and let's find a way and let's get this together, man. I almost feel like this is the last chance. I almost feel like if the Knicks don't do nothing within 3 years, the franchise is gonna be done. Like, it's not gonna be no more New York Knicks. That's how I almost feel. But they need to have that type of mindset. They need to sit there and be like, all right, we got to do this within three years. We got to make the playoffs within a year or 2. We got to get competitive. And it ain't got to be a quick fix. We don't have to sit here and try to get a Giannis that's going to be a free agent or anything like that. You don't have to do that. Look what Golden State did. People forget. Golden State star players they drafted. Look at Denver. They star players they drafted. You can build through the draft. You just got to draft well. All right, you draft number 8. That don't mean nothing. Look how many studs is in the NBA right now, and they wasn't a first overall pick or a top 3 pick. So you can get players that's not in a top 5 draft. Look at Donovan Mitchell, even though and another disgrace the Knicks passed on that. Look at Kawhi Leonard. You know, just to name a few. So you can get a great player at where you at right now. You can even get a great player not even number 8, but in a low first round. Find a way to get some studs, man. And I don't care who they pick. And I'm saying this right now. I want whoever they draft to be at least on an all-rookie team, first or second next year. I'm sorry. They need to get an impact rookie up in here. RJ Barrett, I still think he's going to do well, but he's not Zion. He's not John Morant. I don't think he's going to get to that level, but he could get better. Maybe he can. I hope so. But it starts as soon as the offseason hits. I know the draft is going to be pushed back to November 18th. If that's the first date of where, the NBA offseason begins, then all right, let's go. I want to come on here and I want to get excited about the Knicks. The Knicks is my favorite franchise, my favorite team I root for out of all the teams I root for. And basketball is my favorite sport. I've dealt with nonsense I've dealt with being a Knicks fan even when they was good. When I was in school through now. It's not easy being a Knicks fan. I know that. And trust me, it's times where I don't even, the past couple of years, I ain't even watch the games because I knew they was horrible. And I'm not even getting myself stressed out and getting my blood pressure up. But I love this team, man. I love them. And they need to, I just want them to be competitive, man. I want to, if it's April and they 2 games out of the playoffs, I'll take that. There's something to watch. And have these young kids get developed, man. That's the best thing. So, just let's go, man. Let's do this. Come on, Knicks. Come on. Let this year be the start of the rebuild. I want to hear the Garden whenever fans come back. I want to hear the Garden roar again. There's nothing like it. When the Knicks have been horrible for years, and the crowd still gets hyped and it's still a sellout crowd. Can you imagine if this Knicks team sniffs the playoffs, how loud that the Garden's gonna be? Come on. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like hearing the roar of the Garden crowd when the Knicks are good. It's nothing like it. I don't care what nobody say. So this needs to be it, man. We need to do it, and let's go. So, that's my topic for today. I'm probably gonna come back on Sunday to preview the Giants against the Bears. And I'm gonna definitely talk about some baseball. Another great win by the Yankees. How about Luke Voigt? He needs to be the MVP. I don't care what nobody say. I know Mike Trout is a beast, but Luke Voigt needs to be MVP. How about Kyle Higashioka hitting 3 home runs, looking like Yogi Berra out there. And the Yankee team was on a roll, man. I was hoping Garrett Cole pitched a no-hitter, man. That would have been sweet, but can't be greedy. But another great win they play against tonight. Hopefully we could sweep Toronto. And the Tampa Bay lost yesterday, so the division is still up for grabs. But I'm definitely going to be talking about. I'm going to talk more baseball and other teams, and also the playoffs coming up and how the format and everything. Definitely going to chime in on some NBA. Probably going to be with you guys Saturday. The preview again. Just because it's the day before the Giant game, and preview the football games and everything like that. But this is Will signing off. Again, subscribe to my page, Wilton George. And also, if you want to hit me up on Twitter at WillGeorge85. Drop a like, drop a comment, anything, man. I'm here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys Saturday.